Right. So once again, I want to welcome you to our Introduction to Computer Applications course. Today we'll be looking at chapter 2, but this presentation will actually guide you through the fundamental aspects of using a computer and actually navigating the internet safely and efficiently. So whether you are a complete beginner or you're just looking to refresh your knowledge, I want to tell you this journey is for you to equip you with the essentials skills. Okay, let me enable my pen. Now, like I said, we'll be looking at chapter 2, and chapter 2 of our course outline is talking about computer operations and then internet basics, computer operations and internet basics. And is basically to help you operate the computer and to know the basics, So let's start with starting up and shutting down the computer, okay? So understanding the basic steps of turning on your computer on and off is crucial for its longevity and your data safety. This process is known as booting, okay? And it involves a sequence of technical checks before your computer is ready for use. So what are we trying to say? Booting is the process of starting the computer, but we can put it in form of a definition by saying booting is a process of loading your operating system from your hard disk to your RAM. Remember when we talked about the hardware components of our computer, and we talked about the hard disk as one of the components, okay? Now, the hard disk houses our operating system, but the RAM is the processing environment. So if we want to process something, it is first of all loaded to the RAM before it's being processed, okay? So our operating system, if we want to put it into use, we first of all load it into RAM. That is very, very important. So that's why we said it involves sequence of technical checks before the computer use. Now, some of these checks is just to ensure that the environment is safe for the operating system to load. So, for instance, once you press the power button, then there's what we call the BIOS. BIOS means basic input and output system. It performs what we call the post. Post means the power on self-test. What does it actually mean? It simply means that the computer is going to check the functionability and availability of the very essential hardware components. For instance, it will check whether the RAM is installed and ready for use. It will check the CPU. It will check the basic input and output, like your keyboards, your mouse, all those. So all the hardware components that are required for the loading and the proper functioning of the operating system will be checked, and it will be checked by the post power on self-test. Okay, so once it checks that and everything is fine, the system will load what we call the bootloader. The bootloader, and it will load it by starting the operating system. Now, these particular steps have about 10 sub-steps, which we don't want to go into now, but it's just since we are looking at this thing neatly now, newly now. So let us just take note of it. So after the bootloader has finished loading the files, then you will now get your user interface, where you see like it says welcome, or it says Windows 10 or Windows 11 or whatever, where you see your login interface. So that's what you get, what you see over there. So booting or starting the computer is a process. Okay, it's a process, and it's very, very important. And like the introduction, when I started, you need to be able to follow this process to save your information so that you don't lose your data or damage your equipment. Now, on the other side, when it comes to shutting down your computer, shutting down is like the process of powering off the computer. Okay, like we said, it's also a process. And why is it a process? Because we want to avoid data loss, or we want to avoid system damage. Okay, it's very important. Now, just as the operating system has a process in loading it during the booting process, it also has a process of shutting it down, which means it has to save all the data that is on the RAM. All the information that you are processing, all the data that you have is going to save it to the RAM. From the RAM, it will save it back to the hard disk. So before the computer actually goes off. And in the hard disk that you have, there's what we call magnetic disk hard drive. So the magnetic disk has what we call the read-write head. Now, this read-write head actually is responsible for reading information from the hard disk and writing information back into the hard disk. Okay, so during the booting process, the read-write head usually stays at what we call the landing zone. So once the computer boots completely, the read-write head is moved to the disk where it is going to either read or write. Now, once you want to shut down the system, the computer is going to save everything and make sure that everything is safe. Then the read-write head will now go back to the landing zone. Okay, it will go back to the landing zone. That is where the computer will be powered off. So you see, the process of starting up a computer and shutting it down is a process. It has different steps. Now, what happens if you forcefully put off your computer, or power goes off without the process being completed, or probably, yeah, power goes off? What happens is that, number one, you lose the contents that you have in your RAM. Okay, especially if you have not saved it, you lose the content. And number two, it damages the hard drive, because the hard drive has different storage locations, and they are called tracks and sectors. And the information is stored in these tracks and sectors. And usually, if the read-write head does not go back to the landing zone and the system is later powered on, there's usually a spark that will come up at that point. And then the spark has a way of damaging the sectors of the hard disk, especially the magnetic disk, where it is being residing. Okay, where the read-write head is residing. So once it damages it, if this happens over and over, it damages your hard drive. And unfortunately, if it goes to the sector that is holding your bootloader or your boot manager, okay, if it damages that sector, then you say that the hard disk is gone. So sometimes they call it sector 0 or another sector like that. So it's very important that you save properly before you power off your computer. Okay, always save properly. Now, how about our files and folders, managing it, especially using Windows 11 or any of the Windows? Okay, if you have your Windows operating system, this is maybe probably what it looks. Now, all these ones you see here, they are called folders. All right. They are called folders because on a normal day, like the folder that you buy, the hard copy, you open a folder and you put in files inside. So these folders that you see on the desktop here, you can put in files inside. All right. So efficiently managing your files and folders is key to staying organized and productive. So Windows 11 provides tools that will help you create and save your folders. Okay, it's very, very important. Tools like that. Okay, so how do you create your folders? How do you create your files? How do you move them around? How do you change their location? How do you all those things? How do you do all those? Very, very important. Okay. So if you want to create your folder, it's very simple. You right click on the desktop. All right. If you right click on the desktop folder, then you either go to new folder or you use Control S, then you go to file and then save as, and then you are good on that. Okay. So for instance, I'm going to show you now. Just a moment. I'm going to share my screen. So, just a moment. All right. So I don't know whether you can see it now, but let me try sharing it again. Okay. Okay. So for instance, this is an environment. Okay. And you want to create a folder. Like we said, it's very easy. If I right click on my mouse, so you see where it says here new. If I come here and I say folder, all right, I click it. You see, it creates the folder and it asks me to give it a name. So let me call it test one. Okay. Another way you can create a folder at top here where it says new, you can just click it here. You see where it says folder. If you click it folder, very simple. Let's call it test two. Press enter. So you see, creating a folder is very, very, very easy. In seconds, you've created it. Okay. So you see, you can open up a folder, open it, and then you see here is blank, is empty. You can create files, you can create whatever it is you want to create. I can come in here. If I want to create a new file under new here, you see, I can create what do you call it here? Maybe a text document. If I say new here, I'll now say testing new document. Okay, so you see, I'm creating this new document. Very easy. So I can now type in whatever it is I want to type. So you see, that's how to create a folder, right? It's very, very easy. So now let's go back to our slides. Okay. So you can actually copy your folders or copy your files and move them around. Okay, just right click, you can copy, you can navigate, and things like that. You can also delete your folders. Just click it, right click it, and then you send the items to recycling bin or you press delete. Then it's as simple as that. Okay, so creating folders is very, very easy, right? Then let's talk briefly about the internet, then the global network. All right, the internet is fast, very, very, very fast. It's a vast global network of interconnected computers. Very, very important. Okay, interconnected computer networks that uses standard communication protocols. So it's the backbone of modern communication and information exchange. So like what we're saying, internet is two words coming together, interconnection of networks. Okay, so you have a network in one continent, you have another network in another one, you have another network somewhere, you have another network, you have another network. And then when these networks are interconnected together, you understand, And why do you need to interconnect them? You want to share resources, you want to share access and things like that. So that's where you get the internet. How is it built? Interconnected servers and routers. You know, server is just a dedicated computer that provides special services to a client. So for instance, you have email servers. It's just to say there's a machine where people's email are sitting, residing, or are being managed. So that's called an email server. Okay, you may have maybe a DHCP server. It's just a machine that gives IP addresses to computers everywhere. You may have like a web server. You know, when people browse the internet, they browse different websites. So those websites are residing on a web server. They are just web pages that are residing on a particular machine somewhere. Okay, so those are like what we call web server. You have a file server, you have a print server, different servers. There are different machines that provide special services to clients. So when you have these machines, you are sharing the resources. You need to build up a network. Okay, build up a network because you want to share the resources. So that's why it's called interconnected. Now you also have satellite undersea cables for global reach. You know, because you want to interconnect different continents. So satellite means we are using what we call VSAT, or very common one, the Starlink that you know. You interconnect. They are using a satellite connection. That is why you see the connection is facing the sky. You know, you'll be facing the sky and it's connected to maybe another a network in the sky and things like that. So ISP, internet service providers. In other words, they are organizations that provide you with internet. So for instance, you have telecom ISPs. Telecom ISPs, like when you talk about MTN, Glo, Airtel, all these GSM networks, you know, they have the infrastructure to provide you the interconnection with others. All right. So they're telecom ISPs. You also have ISPs that are on the satellite, that use the satellite. You have Intelsat, you have Starlink, and you have so many others that are out there. Okay, that provide you. They don't connect based on the telecoms. They connect based on the orbit. Okay, so any service, any organization that provides you internet connection is an ISP, right? Now, it has so much importance. One of the importance of internet is instant communication. When people use emails or when people are using social media, you know, you want to do communication, instant communication. The internet is very, very important. These days, our world is basically in social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you know, X, and so on and so forth. And people's life are revolving around it. And every day you hear somebody say, I'll need to load data so that I can be able to access whatever resources, or I should be able to access some other persons so that I'll see what's going on in the global world. So all those is because internet has been made available. And people do exchange of emails, people process a lot of things. Okay, there's vast information access once it comes to the internet. In fact, even in the education line, there's nothing that you are looking for that you will not find on the internet. There's nothing you want to learn and that you will not find it on the internet. So part of the reasons you are also studying this course is to help you to be able to use the internet properly, or use the computer properly, to be able to be self-independent, self-taught, or to be able to learn other courses effectively. All right. So it enables global business and education. People run businesses on it. People do run schools. All right. So the source of endless entertainment is another thing you find on the internet. So how do you go around the internet? How do you navigate the web? You navigate the web using what we call the web browsers. Web browsers are applications that you use in order to access whatever you want to access on the internet. So they are your portal to the internet, allowing you to view and interact with websites. So each browser offers a unique set of features and priorities. For instance, there's what they call the Google Chrome browser. Okay, they are usually very fast. They are very widely used, extensive extensions. They have all that. And very interesting. You also have, and those ones are managed by Google. Okay, then you have the Microsoft Edge, managed by Microsoft. They are usually integrated with your operating system, your Windows operating system, and they also have very good performance, and security as well. You also have Mozilla Firefox. It has a lot of privacy features, and it's also a browser that you need to download. And it's more or less what we call free and open source. Okay, open source. Then you also have Safari. Those of you that use Apple, iOS, iPads, and things like that, you have the Safari browser, very energy efficient and things like that. There are so many other browsers out there. So the browsers helps you to gain access to the internet. So you launch in a browser, and then you can now type in the address of whatever it is, wherever it is you are going, and then it helps you to get there. So another thing you use the internet very well for is finding information, especially using search engines. Now, you may want to know what is search engines. They are powerful tools that help you find whatever information you're looking for in the vast internet. So they work by cataloging web content and matching them to your queries. Your queries is like the question that you pose on the search bar. Okay, you are searching for something. So how do they usually work? There's what we call crawling. All right, crawlers are programs or they're like spiders, that visit each web page. If you have a website, or you've hosted a website, there are crawlers that go around the website that get a lot of information that is hosted on that particular website. Okay, and then you have indexing. Content is organized and stored in massive database. And then you have the ranking, algorithms that determine relevance to your keywords. So when I go to probably Google or whatever search engine I'm using, and then I now I type something that I'm looking for. You understand? It brings a lot of these answers, but this is how the answers work. So how then, what's the best way for you to use it? Okay, you can for best practice, you can use specific keywords. If you are looking for, you are searching for something, you need to be very, very specific. Use less of general terms and use more of specific terms. You can use quotation marks for exact phrases. All right. You can also use filters, like data types, and things like that. It will help. So for instance, let me share my browser. Where's my browser? Sorry. Share browser. Okay, so for instance, this is my browser, and then I go to maybe a search engine. Very popular one is maybe Google. So I can go to Google, for instance, and in Google, you see this is the search bar. You see, this is my address bar where I address. And what browser am I using? I'm using Edge, Microsoft Edge. So I type google.com, brings me here. So I'm going to now type a question, assuming I'm looking for a material. But before then, you can now search by voice. All right, you can click this icon and then speak to it, and then it will search it. Or if you are using your phone, you can use the camera button here to just, if you click it, it will enable your camera, and then you can snap any object. You can snap any object, and then it will search the internet for that particular object. Okay, you search it, or you can just come in here and type the the information we are looking for. So, for instance, we can type and say best way, best strategy to study for exams. Okay, so you see, as I'm typing it, is giving me different options. So what this search engine is going to do is going to be picking each word, specific word, and then it will put them together. So you see, it's giving me options. Is it study in a short time, or is it at home? Is it last minute? Is it in a week, or as a student, or in college? You see, it wants me to be more specific. Okay. So let me say, I can come back here and say, as an undergraduate student, what is the best way to study for exam? All right. So if I now press enter, so it's going to now search the internet for me. Right? So let's see the various options that we are given here. Okay. Now it says the most effective way to study for exam as an undergraduate student involves a combination of, you see, it has highlighted it for me, a combination of proactive planning, active listening techniques, and constant efforts. So you say, start by creating your study schedule, organize your materials using active recalls and speed repetition. Don't forget to prioritize mental and physical well-being throughout the process. Okay, so it has given us like a video. See, this video outlines the most effective study methods and how to implement them. So it has given us a video link. If you click the video link, it's going to play and give you how you can, within 2 hours, to get your good grades. Okay. So you see, it has gone down to give us most details. Number one, it says planning and organization. Start early. Don't wait until the last minute to cram. Begin studying well in advance for exam dates to allow for spaced repetition and more thorough understanding of the material. And then you see here, it will give us like the link that the search engine got this information. You see, this is where you get the link here. So if you click the link here, it will take us to where it got this. Create a study schedule, allocate specific times for each subject and task, breaking down the materials into manageable tasks. So this is the link to get that, and so on and so forth. So you see, the internet has just searched and given us, there are some other links on how we can get that particular topic that we are looking for. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay. So that is it. Now, how about AI tools and the internet, the rise of AI tools on the internet? AI simply means artificial intelligence. Okay. So it says artificial intelligence is transforming how we interact with the internet, offering intelligent assistance and automation in various tasks. Okay. So we have different AI tools like ChatGPT is one of it. Google Assistant is another. Okay. We have a lot of AI tools. We're going to look at them maybe some other time, and these tools are advanced conversational AI that can answer questions for you, generate text for you, perform tasks for you and things like that. They do content generation. They can create articles, create emails, creative writings, and even code snippets, and things like that. They do language translation, they do customer support, and so on and so forth. So for instance, let me go back to let's go to one of the AI tools. Let me go, where's my browser? Just a minute. Right, so let me pick maybe two AI tools and ask the same question. Can you see this same question that we have asked here? You understand? We got this answer based on this AI review here that Google gave us, this AI review. Now, there's another, I can go to ChatGPT, all right? And then ask ChatGPT the same question. And then you will now see the way and pattern ChatGPT is going to answer. It's going to be like a conversation that I am having, all right? So I can come to ChatGPT and then I press this. I just put the same question as an undergraduate. So now you see it's going to provide me the answer. It says, look at it here. It says the best way to study for exam as an undergraduate involves strategic combination of planning, understanding, and practice. So you see it has given you the similar answer the other one has given. And then it says, goes down, it says, understand the exam format and expectation. Ask questions. Get past questions. You understand? It says, create a study schedule. Start early. Begin by reviewing at least 2 to 3 weeks before the exam. Break it down, divide subjects into daily tasks, use a timer, study in focus session, e.g. 50. You see, there it says use active listening techniques, avoid just passively reading instead. Summarize in your own words, write summaries of it. So you see, the AI tool is giving us a more specific answer. You see, it has even given you a weekly plan. Week 1, read and understand key topics, take notes. Week 2, practice questions, summarize notes for your self-test. Week 3, revise summaries, focus on the weak areas, simulate your exams. And you see what it says. If you would like, I can help you to create custom study timetable based on your subject and remaining time. Just let me know. Which means with the AI tool, it wants you to give it more information in your question. It wants you to be extremely detailed with your question. Okay, so I can come down here and then be more detailed. So you can say, as an undergraduate student, what is the best way? Or you can say, let's put it this way. You say, I am a 200 level student in the faculty of management science. Okay, I am taking a course in introduction computer application. What is the best technique you will advise me to use in order to study and pass the exam with good grades? In order to advise me while attending, okay, advise me in order to attend class, both physical and virtual, also study and pass grades. So Let's now, you see, we have put in so much information. Let's hear what the AI is going to tell us. So you see, the more information you put, the more specific it gives you your answer. So it says, this is great. Let me zoom it a little. Okay. It says, that's great step you are taking. Being intentional about learning and aiming for good grades. Here's a practical strategy you can use to attend both physical and virtual classes effectively and to study smart to pass your introduction to computer application course with excellent grades. So you see, number one, it says what? Get organized. Get organized. Get a Google Calendar, set reminders for your physical and virtual class, get a notebook or a digital tab, create section for your notes and assignment. This is manage your class attendance, your hybrid mode. Physical class, sit in front. Did you hear that? Sit in front, if possible, be attentive and what? Ask questions. You see what he's saying? Sit in front, be attentive, and ask questions. Clear this. Then for the virtual class, it says join 5 to 10 minutes early. Use headphones and avoid distractions. Turn off social media. And you see, he's giving you tips. And then it says, if you miss a class, immediately get the class notes from a reliable coursemate and ask questions to fill the gaps. All right? So, bonus tips, record virtual classes if permitted and watch later for revision. Then it says study smart, not just hard. All right, so understand the concept first. Don't cram. Understand what, how, and why. Use YouTube to watch short explanations on quick tips. All right, operating system, internet basics, and things like that. This is discuss in study group, and then practice with the computer very well. It says use Windows 11 computer regularly to try. Create folders like what we are talking about, saving and editing documents, use internet browsers like Google Chrome, Firefox, exploring this. So you see, create, revise and test yourself. You see, this is what is giving you, and it has given you a bonus a weekly plan. Monday, attend your class. Tuesday, practice concept. Wednesday, this, Thursday, and this. So the AI goes a long way to give you. But this is not the only AI. There are so many other AI tools. There's another one. Let me copy the same question so that you see the behavior in the answer. There's another one called DeepSeek. Okay, there's another one called DeepSeek. So let's find out how DeepSeek is going to answer the same question that we're posting. We'll post it here, and then we allow it to go. So you see the way DeepSeek is going to answer is going to be similar, but the format is going to be a little, different. So see, still writing for us. So it says, as a 200 level management science, taking introduction to computer application, balancing physical and virtual class effectively study habit and exam success requires structured approach. So it's talking about time and management. Since you are attending both physical and virtually, use these strategies. Set a schedule. Prioritize your attendance. It says watch recordings. So you see, after each class, I used to drop you people a recording. Always watch the recordings. Active listening. Take notes. Use notes and whatever. Ask questions. Participate in discussion. All right. So you see the format that this AI tool is giving us. There's another one we can try. Coming. Okay. Let's try ask the same question here. Okay. We're asking Copilot. Copilot is by Microsoft. So Sorry, for security reasons, it's going to verify. Uh, Copilot, waiting. All right. So this is Copilot. Okay. So, all right. So, okay. So I'll post my question here, the same question, and then I press. So you see the way it's going to also answer is similar, but it has its own differences. So you see each AI tool will give you the answers, but the format is going to give you differs depending on what you're going to be using. Okay. So let's go back to our PowerPoint so that we can continue. All right. So emails. Emails remains a cornerstone of digital communication, essential for personal and professional correspondence. So understanding its basics is very crucial. All right. So you can use, when you are sending emails, you can use either Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo. So like your Unijos email, you use Outlook. Okay. We're going to access that maybe very soon in another time. Then can click to compose, enter this, enter your details and so on. So for when you are receiving emails, you do likewise. Now, for your Unijust email, let me show you guys. Okay, no, I'm going to make a special video for you guys on how to access your Unijust email and or what they call the Microsoft 365 email, and then how you are going to play around with it. But email works using what we call protocol, SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, okay? It also uses what we call post office protocol and then instant messages accessing protocol. These protocols are just rules. They are rules that helps you to be able to, that helps in the communication process between the mails. All right. So we have different kind of mails. We have what we call the personal mail, particularly for friends and families. You have what we call the business mails, for professional correspondence and so on and so forth. You have the educational mails, that is for your school, all right? And then you have the marketing, promotional content and things like that, all right? So how about staying safe online? We use the internet every day. We use the social media every day. We create accounts every day. We manage our accounts. So the internet is a very powerful tool, but it also comes with risk. So protecting online safety is paramount. All right. Very, very important. So for instance, there are some safety tips here. When you are creating passwords, make sure you use strong passwords, unique passwords for every account. All right. You will not use the same password for Facebook, for Instagram, for your email, for your whatever. No. You can use different passwords. That's one tip. The second one is use what we call two-factor authentication. All right. So enable two-factor authentication for added security. What is this two-factor? When you're trying to log in, it will send an authentication maybe to another device, maybe your phone or your email and things like that, just like a double check. Okay. So even if you're using WhatsApp, you need to be able to do that, right? Then you have links and attachments. Avoid suspicious link and unknown downloads. You receive email and then you don't know who the sender is. Don't be in a hurry to open it, especially when that email comes in with a link or an attachment advising you to click it. So when it comes with such, just ensure that you know who the source is before you do that. Then software updates. Always keep your operating system and antivirus softwares updated. Okay. Always keep them updated. If you keep them updated, it will help you. Then personal info, be cautious about sharing sensitive data online. Very, very, very cautious. It's not everything you're going to be sending online. Then ensure that you visit secure websites especially that has HTTPS. All right, that is to tell you that it's a very secure site. All right, so this is where we will draw the curtain for today's class. I'm going to take in questions now. If you have any question, you raise your electronic hands so that we can